Alright, Godlings, here's a good one. This is transphobia and racism, and they're both closely very connected. Very closely, right? Okay, so when I was growing up, I wasn't brought up to be racist. Now, however, my father, he would say racist things, which I'm not convinced he was racist. He was a real out there guy and didn't talk about his emotions and stuff like that, right? But he would say some racist things, and I think he just was repeating what he was taught, right? Because I just realized this other day that my son is not racist because I'm not, right? I loved Michael Jackson growing up, and I just didn't see color. Race didn't bother me, right? But I got a lot of shit for it. I got a lot of shit for liking Michael Jackson. I did. But then I realized how it's taught. Racism is totally taught. I've known that for actually a long time. It's taught. It's not only taught to white people to be racist, it's also taught to other races, black people. I think it's specifically taught to black people, so you can't trust white people. So therefore that makes them a bit racist by default, right? Now we got this transphobia stuff going on, like the gay rights, you know. So okay, so I wasn't racist growing up, still not. I've been confused for it. I don't know why, but people think I'm racist. I'm the last person that's racist, man. I think everybody should be able to do what the fuck they want to do as long as you ain't bothering anybody else, man. I mean, look at me, right? So anywho, so then I found out a family member was gay, and I'm like, whatever, you know. But so now, in the past couple of years, we have this trans stuff going on. I'm like, all right, whatever. But then they went further, and they're like indoctrinating our children, requiring them to be at these book readings or whatever. And it's like, no. That's where we have to draw the line, okay? Now, I'm a Satanist. I've been a Satanist ever since I was a teenager, okay? And Satanism advocates for personal freedom in that way, right? But not to go out of your way, or just because you have rights doesn't mean you can use your rights to step on other one's rights or violate others' rights, okay? So, Satanists don't believe in indoctrinating children in anything. You know, they don't. So, therefore, we don't indoctrinate them. There's another organization that does that. They're satanic, and I'm not going to mention it here. But I will say that I don't think it's right. I mean, if kids want to have their thing, great. You know, let them do it. Maybe you can support them a little bit. But don't force it. You know, come on now. Like, you know, like I didn't talk about my religion or any religion, actually, until my son got older. He was like 13, 12 or 13. He started asking questions. That's about the time they start asking questions. So he starts asking questions. And I told him about Christianity, Satanism, Jehovah's Witnesses, anything I knew about. You know, I studied a lot of different religions. So I figured, well, when he gets old enough, he'll figure it out. And he'll ask questions, and I'll tell him what I can. But we shouldn't be shoving it down people's throats. And now, see, that's what's happening right now, though. You got these trans people or in drag trying to indoctrinate our children. It's like, no. And then they want to say, oh, you're transphobic. No, we want you to leave our children alone. You can do whatever the hell you want to do on your own, man. I don't care what you want to do. You want to, if you're a grown man, you want to dress like a woman. If you want to dress like a woman or dress up in half lingerie in the middle of your living room and jerk off in the middle of your feces, go for it. But don't do it with children around, and don't teach them that crap, okay? They're not old enough to understand. So, you know, if they see you that you're dressed in drag, whatever, man. But, you know, don't require, that's just like this satanic shit. They want to require and force it. It's like, no. Just because you have certain rights doesn't mean you can go out of your way to step on someone else's rights or destroy their rights or change their rights in any way. But I just realized, because I wasn't brought up racist, right? Like I said, my dad would say things, but he didn't mean it. He was just repeating what he was taught. So then I realized just today, because my son and I ran into someone that he knew at school, a person of color, and my son, not racist. And I was like, oh my God, it just dawned on me. I was like, my son's not racist. That's great. That's how you defeat racism. You don't pass it on. You don't teach it to the next generation. So, that's what we have to do. We have to break that cycle. It's very hard to break some cycles. I know. So now it's like, well, I don't feel like we have to bend over backwards and kiss a whole generation. I don't think we have to kiss a whole group of people's asses either. But we should, hey, here, do what you want to do, but leave us alone with it. No problem, Because like with this trans stuff, I have no problem with it. I don't care what you want to do, but when you start getting the children involved, it's a no-go, man. Come on. But I just realized that my son's not, and I guess, I'm like, man, I did an all right job in that part, because I see how it's taught. And I realized that my son's not racist. I'm like, that's awesome. That's the best reparations. That's the best goddamn reparations anybody can make to any other group, is to not be racist or mean on them, or whatever the word, you know what I mean, right? That's the best way, like people are talking about reparations, and I get it, man. I mean, this whole country is founded on their backs, right? I get it, man. So, but what I do understand is that it's taught, and I was so glad that my son's not racist, because I didn't teach him that, right? That's where it starts, right? And everybody talks about racism, keep going, but that's what they keep talking about it. They keep talking about it and planting it in people's heads and having that separation. It's divide and conquer, plain and simple. While the people making the money, they're raking it in, and they're watching everybody fight each other over this bullshit, especially like the trans stuff now. It's the same thing as the racism. It's just a little different flavor. Got it? Now think about this. I mean, seriously, it's not good. But what we have to do is we just have to train our next generation to not be. And there's a whole new generation of kids out there that I think are rejecting that. They're like, I don't care if my parents are doing this. I'm not going to do it. And I think there's a lot more and more of that coming on. I really hope. Because I can see but I do feel like it's like our ancestors did do a whole group of people wrong, man. We did. And now do I feel like I have to kiss their butt? No, but I feel like we have to undo some of it. And part of that is by teaching our children to not be racist and to accept that stuff. Treat them just like anybody else, right? Don't need to treat them like kings. Don't need to treat them like anybody else. Treat them just like just treat them like everybody else, right? Don't need to treat them like kings. But anywho, I guess that's all I had to say. But I'm really proud that my son is not racist, and it just dawned on me like the other day. I was like, man, if there's one thing I did in this world to undo something, to undo one negative, I did it. And I'm glad for that.